She cheated with a bad boy biker but came back crying. He treated me like trash. I need you to pay for my therapy to heal from him. I replied, I know a great specialist. Then I drove her to her parents' house, dropped her bags on the lawn, and said, they treat patients for free here. Her dad's confusion when I drove off. So this just happened last weekend and I'm still processing it. Not in a sad way, more like in a did that really just go down kind of way. I'm 34, been with my girlfriend Ashley for 2 years. Was with her. Past tense now. We met through mutual friends. She seemed normal at first. Pretty, fun to be around, had her life together. She's 31, works as a dental hygienist, has her own place. Independent woman, or so I thought. About 6 months into dating, I noticed she had this thing about bad boys. Not like a casual preference, more like an obsession. She'd point out guys with motorcycles, tattoos, that whole rebel aesthetic. Make comments about how hot they were. Right in front of me. First time it happened, we were at a bar. Some dude in a leather vest walked by, and she literally turned her head to watch him. Then looked at me and said I should get a motorcycle. I told her I had no interest in becoming a statistic. She laughed, but I could tell she was disappointed. I'm not that guy. I work in supply chain management. I drive a sensible sedan. I go to the gym regularly, but I'm not covered in ink. I pay my bills on time, don't start fights, treat people with respect. Apparently, that made me boring. I should have ended things right there. Looking back, that was the red flag. But I figured everyone has types they're attracted to. Doesn't mean they'll act on it. I told her straight up after that bar incident that if she wanted someone else, she should go find him. Don't waste my time playing games. She said no, she was happy with me. It was just casual comments. I said fine, but I wasn't changing who I was for anyone. Around the 1-year mark, she started getting weird about her phone. Tilting the screen away from me, taking calls in the other room, texting constantly with this little smile on her face. I'm not an idiot. I knew something was up. I asked her about it directly. She said it was nothing, just some friends from her cycling group. She'd recently joined this weekend riding club. Bicycles, she said. I didn't push it because I'm not the controlling type. But my gut told me something was off. 2 months later, I found out the truth in the dumbest way possible. Her mom called me asking if Ashley and I wanted to come over for dinner. Said she hadn't seen her daughter in weeks because she was always off with her new boyfriend. Her exact words. I said, excuse me, what? Her mom went quiet. Then she said, oh no, I thought you two had broken up. I told her no, we definitely had not broken up. She apologized, said she must have misunderstood something Ashley told her, and hung up real quick. I sat there staring at my phone. Her own mother thought we'd broken up. That's how brazen she was being. I didn't call Ashley right away. Instead, I did something I probably should have done weeks earlier. Checked our phone records. We'd combined our plans about 4 months prior to save money, so I had access. Pulled up her call and text logs from our carrier's website. There was one number she'd been calling and texting constantly for the past 2 months. Sometimes at 1 in the morning, sometimes multiple times during her workday. I reverse searched the number. Came back to a guy named Zach. His social media was public. Covered in tattoos, rode a Harley, had pictures of himself at bars, bike rallies, the works. He was exactly the type she'd been drooling over. Found a picture from 2 weeks ago. Ashley on the back of his bike, arms wrapped around him, huge smile on her face. Caption said, my girl knows how to hold on tight. I screenshot everything. Sent it to myself. Then I closed the browser and waited. She came over that evening like nothing was wrong. Kissed me hello, asked how my day was. I said it was interesting. Asked about hers. She said boring, just work stuff. I pulled up the screenshot on my phone. Handed it to her. Asked her who Zach was. Her face went white. She tried to play it off at first. Said he was just a friend from the writing group. I asked her why her friend was calling her my girl on social media. She stumbled over her words. Said it was just how he talked. It didn't mean anything. I pulled up the phone records on my laptop, showed her the 2 months of constant calls and texts, asked her to explain that. She started crying, finally admitted she'd been seeing him but it wasn't serious, just some fun. I asked her how long. She said 2 months. I asked her if we were done then. She looked confused. I said clearly she wanted to be with him, so we were done. She panicked. Said no, she wanted to be with me. Zach didn't mean anything. I told her to get out. She started really crying then. Said she made a mistake, it was just a fling, she'd end it. I said too late. She'd already made her choice when she got on the back of his bike. Pointed at the door. She grabbed her purse and left. That should have been the end of it. Clean break, dodged a bullet, move on with my life. But Ashley doesn't do clean breaks. The next day she started texting. Apologies, explanations, promises. I didn't respond. Day after that, she showed up at my place. I didn't let her in. Day 3, she sent a letter, an actual handwritten letter about how she was confused and made a terrible choice, but she loved me. I blocked her on everything and figured eventually she'd get the hint. 3 weeks went by. Quiet. I assumed she'd moved on, was probably still with Zach. Good for them. I hope they're very happy riding off into the sunset or whatever. Then last Saturday morning, my doorbell rings at 8 in the morning. I look through the peephole and it's Ashley. She looks rough. Hair a mess, eyes puffy like she'd been crying, wearing sweatpants and an old jacket. Part of me felt bad. The smarter part of me remembered her on the back of Zach's bike. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. Asked what she wanted. She immediately started sobbing. Said she made the biggest mistake of her life. Said Zach turned out to be a nightmare. I asked what that had to do with me. She said she needed to talk to someone who understood her. I told her to call a friend. She said I was the only one who really knew her. The manipulation was so obvious it was almost insulting. But I was curious where this was going, so I asked what happened with Zach. She went into this long story. Apparently, the bad boy image was real. He was controlling, possessive, had a temper, didn't like her talking to other guys, including her male coworkers. Got jealous if she didn't text him back immediately, criticized what she wore. The whole toxic package. I asked why she stayed with him for 2 months if he was so terrible. She said at first it was exciting. The intensity felt like passion. By the time she realized it was actually just him being unstable, she felt trapped. I nodded along. Made sympathetic sounds. Waited for her to get to the real reason she was at my door. She said she broke up with him 2 weeks ago. Said it was messy. He didn't take it well. Said she was traumatized by the whole experience and needed therapy to process what she'd been through. Then came the ask. She wanted to know if I would help her pay for therapy. Said her insurance didn't cover enough sessions and she couldn't afford the copays. Said she needed intensive treatment to heal from what Zach put her through. I just stared at her. This woman cheated on me with some dude. Had a terrible time because, surprise, the guy she picked for his bad boy image had bad boy qualities and now wanted me to fund her recovery from her own choices. I asked her if she was serious. She said completely serious. Said she knew it was a lot to ask, but I was the only stable, good man in her life and she needed my help. The audacity was breathtaking. I told her I'd help her. Her face lit up. She started thanking me, saying she knew I'd understand. I held up my hand. Said I knew a great specialist who could help her. She asked who. I told her to give me 10 minutes to get dressed. She asked if she should come in. I said no, wait in your car. She looked hurt but went back to her car. I went inside, got dressed, grabbed my keys and the 2 garbage bags from my closet. When I came back out, I had the 2 garbage bags with me. I put them in my trunk. She was watching from her car, looking confused. I got in my car and pulled out. She followed. We drove for about 20 minutes. She kept texting me asking where we were going. I didn't respond. Finally pulled up in front of a house, her parents' house. She pulled up behind me looking confused. I got out, went to my trunk, and pulled out the 2 garbage bags. Stuff she'd left at my place over 2 years. Clothes, toiletries, some books, a hairdryer, random stuff that had accumulated. I walked up to her parents' lawn and dropped the bags right there. She got out of her car freaking out, asked what I was doing. I said I was taking her to see a specialist. Her dad came out looking completely confused. I waved at him. He waved back uncertainly. Ashley was trying to grab the bags, saying this wasn't funny. I looked at her and said, therapy is expensive, but I knew some specialists who treat patients for free. Her parents. Then I got in my car and drove off. In my rearview mirror, I could see her dad walking toward her, Ashley standing there with her mouth open and the bags on the lawn. She tried calling me immediately. I didn't answer. She left voicemails, lots of them. The first ones were angry, calling me immature, saying I humiliated her in front of her parents. The later ones were crying, begging me to talk to her. Her mom called me that evening, said Ashley had told them everything. She apologized for her daughter's behavior, said she was disappointed in how Ashley handled things. Then she said something that surprised me. She said Ashley had always been like this, choosing the wrong guys, making impulsive decisions, then expecting someone else to clean up the mess. She said they loved their daughter, but they'd enabled her too long. Said what I did was harsh, but probably necessary. Then she thanked me for being good to Ashley while we were together and said she was sorry it ended the way it did. That conversation made me feel better about the whole situation. At least her parents saw through it. Monday comes around and I'm at work. My phone starts blowing up around lunch. Not Ashley this time. Zach. Apparently Ashley had gone back to him, told him I'd humiliated her, made up some story about me being abusive and controlling. Zach decided to be her knight in shining leather and sent me a bunch of threatening messages. Told me to stay away from his girl. Said if I contacted her again, he'd come find me. I screenshot everything and saved it. Then I blocked him too. Didn't respond, didn't engage. Not worth it. That was Monday. By Wednesday, Ashley was texting me from a new number. Said she made another mistake going back to Zach. Said he was even worse now. Said she really did need help and her parents weren't taking her seriously. I finally responded. Told her this was not my problem. Told her she made her choices and now she got to live with them. Told her to stop contacting me or I'd file a restraining order. She said I was cruel. I said no, I was done. Blocked that number too. Thursday, her best friend Emma called me. I almost didn't answer but figured might as well hear what angle this was going to be. Emma said Ashley was a mess. Said she was worried about her. I said that was unfortunate, but again, not my problem. Emma said I was being cold. I asked Emma if Ashley had told her the full story. Emma said yes, Ashley cheated but she was going through something and needed support. I asked Emma if she'd pay for Ashley's therapy. Emma went quiet. I said exactly. Told her if she was so concerned, she could help. Emma said she couldn't afford it. I said neither could I, even though we both knew that wasn't true. I just wasn't going to. Emma called me heartless and hung up. I added her to the block list too. By Friday, I'd blocked 7 different numbers Ashley had borrowed from friends trying to reach me. Each message was some variation of the same thing. She was sorry, she needed help, I was the only one who could help her. Why was I being so mean? Not once did any of these messages take actual accountability. It was all about what she needed from me, not about what she'd done to me. Saturday morning, exactly 1 week after the lawn incident, I got a letter in the mail. From Ashley. Must have mailed it earlier in the week. It was 6 pages long. Handwritten. Started with apologies, moved into explanations about why she cheated, something about feeling unfulfilled, wanting excitement, not knowing what she had until it was gone. The usual. Then it got into the Zach situation. She went into detail about how controlling he'd been, how he'd isolated her from friends, how he'd made her feel worthless, how she finally got the courage to leave. The last 2 pages were asking me to reconsider helping her. Said she understood if I didn't want to be with her romantically, but she thought we were friends. Said friends help friends. Said the cost of therapy was only about $1,200 for the sessions she needed. Said she'd pay me back eventually. $1,200. That's what she thought this was about. The money. I didn't respond to the letter. Instead, I posted a vague status on social media about how sometimes the trash takes itself out, but then tries to crawl back for garbage pickup. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. Within hours, mutual friends were messaging me asking what happened. I didn't give details to most of them, just said Ashley and I broke up and I'd prefer not to discuss it. But a couple of close friends, I told them everything. They were appalled. One of them said he'd always thought something was off about her. Sunday comes and I'm finally having a peaceful morning. Coffee, football on TV, no drama. Then my doorbell rings again. I swear if it was Ashley I was calling the cops. It wasn't Ashley. It was Zach. He's standing there in his leather vest, arms crossed, trying to look intimidating. I'm not a small guy. I'm 6'1", about 200 pounds, most of it from lifting. This dude was maybe 5'9" on a good day. But he had the attitude of someone much bigger. He said we needed to talk about Ashley. I said no, we didn't. He said I'd been harassing her. I laughed, told him to check his facts. I'd been ignoring her. He said that was harassment, making her feel rejected. The mental gymnastics were impressive. I told him to leave my property. He said he wasn't going anywhere until I promised to leave Ashley alone. I pulled out my phone and started recording, told him he was trespassing, and I was giving him one chance to leave before I called the police. He noticed the camera and backed off a bit. Started saying I better not post that anywhere. I said I'd do whatever I wanted with video taken on my property. He called me a few choice names and left. I sent the video to myself and saved it in multiple places. Then I filed a police report online about the trespassing. Gave them the video. They said they'd follow up. That evening, Ashley called me from yet another number. I was getting really tired of this. She was crying hysterically. Said Zach had gotten arrested for violating a restraining order someone else had on him. Said she didn't know about it until the cops picked him up. Said she bailed him out, but now he was mad at her because he blamed her for me calling the cops on him. I told her I didn't call the cops on Zach. I filed a report about him trespassing. What happened after that was between him and his own legal issues. She said it was the same thing. I said it really wasn't. Then, she said she was done with Zach for real this time. Said she saw now what kind of person he really was. Said she should have listened to me from the beginning. I never told her not to date Zach. I wasn't her dad. I just broke up with her for cheating. But in her mind, apparently I'd been warning her all along. She asked if we could meet for coffee and talk. I said no. She asked if I'd at least consider being friends eventually. I said no. She asked why I was holding such a grudge. That's when I lost it a bit. Told her she cheated on me, expected me to fund her therapy for the consequences of her own choices, sent her unstable boyfriend to my house, and had spent 2 weeks harassing me through burner numbers and friends. Told her there was no universe where we'd be friends. She went quiet. Then she said I'd changed. Said I used to be kind. I told her I still was kind, just not to people who treat me like garbage. Then I hung up and blocked that number too. Monday morning, I get an email from her. The subject line said, "Please read." Against my better judgment, I opened it. It was short. Said she finally understood she messed up. Said she wasn't going to contact me anymore. Said she hoped one day I'd forgive her. Said she was checking herself into a therapy program and her parents were helping her pay for it. That was 4 days ago. Haven't heard from her since. No calls, no texts, no letters. Either she's actually respecting my boundaries now, or she's plotting something else. Time will tell. Her mom called me yesterday. Said Ashley was doing a bit better. Said the therapy was helping. Then she said something interesting. She said Ashley admitted she'd been chasing the wrong things for years. That she'd mistaken drama for passion and stability for boredom. Said it would be a long road, but maybe she'd figure herself out eventually. I thanked her for the update and said I genuinely hoped Ashley got better. Just nowhere near me. So that's where things are now. Single, drama-free, and significantly less tolerant of nonsense than I was a month ago. I've been on a few dates since. Nothing serious yet, but I'm in no rush, taking time to just exist without someone else's chaos bleeding into my life. And if I see a woman checking out bikers at a bar, I'm running the other direction. Lesson learned.